Do you want to play The War Within, or are you with me that Midnight sounds like a much better, much more appealing product, but they're almost like, hey, here is this recolored dwarves for you and some underground caverns. Enjoy for the next 2 years, but stick around, Gyro, there'll be Midnight, mate. Even Chris Metzen says, oh, stick around, I promise, we're not screwing around, haha. But he doesn't even tell us that the intended cadence is X. Oh, we're not screwing around, a great franchise, blah blah blah. But we're not ready to tell you anything basically about that cadence. What? Happy BlizzCon day number 1, my friends. The day has come, we wait for it every year, and we keep our fingers crossed that it's not some boring stuff that they're gonna give us, but something good. And something good they did give us, but I have some of my own subjective thoughts that I would like to share with you. This video will recap some of the key things, but not everything. I'm not trying to give you the summary of the news. I'm trying to tell you what resonated with me personally. If you agree, talk to me in the comments down below, or just give the video a like so that more of players like us see this video. That's how YouTube algorithm goes. And you are most welcome to disagree with me as long as we remain mutually respectful. Talk to me. I welcome all sorts of opinions. What did you like? What did you dislike? And here I go with what I liked and disliked. And I think I need to address the elephant in the room, what I said on the thumbnail. After seeing these 3 expansions previewed for us, revealed to us during the opening ceremony, is it a good thing? Of course it is. It is good for them to be transparent. It is good for them trying to hook us onto a long journey of this World Soul Saga. First of all, the whole World Soul Saga, I think, is a little bit it's sort of a little bit far-fetched already by now. We've had enough of these, titans stabbing Azeroth with swords, and I guess I'm post that sensitive tender age, let's call it tender age, when that still was resonating with me, and I felt something when Chris Metzen from the stage was roaring in his voice of defenders of Azeroth. It gave me something. It was in the good old days of the red shirt guy when he first appeared and that stuff. But by now, I don't think that I'm that old, but I'm certainly a middle-aged player, as a lot of people are, and this just doesn't do it for me. So the whole World Soul Saga did not resonate with me. Let me know if it resonated with you. Yes, it's nice that they're transparent about the next expansions, and I'll expand on that in a second. But overall, meh is my answer to that, how I felt. Now, the upcoming expansion, The War Within, the idea of being underground and the idea of interacting with Nerubians and being introduced to Nerubian civilization specifically is of interest to me. It is definitely of interest to me. Now, the fact that they even introduced a bipedal kind of, standing upright on 2 legs Nerubians, like those transformed Nerubians with Zalatov's, influence, I suppose, and them not capitalizing on it and not creating them as some kind of allied race or just new playable race full-blown is perplexing and is a missed opportunity. Them giving us earthen, basically dwarves, it's just a skin for dwarves. And yeah, okay, if you get a kick out of playing a dwarf, more power to you, I don't judge, but again, I welcome your opinion in the comments down below. But for me, this is just, I don't want to say too little too late, but that's kind of how I feel, and I'm not just saying it, I will get the whole 10-15 views on this video probably because these videos are not very popular on my channel, so you can rest assured that I'm not saying it for dramatic effect. I genuinely think it's very meh. I genuinely think, it doesn't rock my boat in any shape or form. Now, The War Within, Midnight, and The Last Titan. 3 expansions are being announced. The War Within, we go to Nerubians, but we can't be Nerubians. We only can be a recolored dwarf. Okay, meh. Very meh. Underground things, we've seen the experiment, successful experiment, I must add, with Zaralek Cavern. Am I looking forward to it? Look, it's okay, it's just new zones, and especially they kept talking about how they did their best to not turn them into truly an underground kind of cavernous expansion, but still make you feel like you're outside, because there are too many players of the tender age who will just cry their eyes out if they suddenly feel like they're underwater or have to traverse in 3D spaces, and they just need to feel like they're outside. Okay, I am somewhat interested in the zone where they have that massive crystal replacing the sun, basically a massive lamp in the sky. Like, I am interested in that. But beyond that, I think that they talk about underground, but then they make it look like you are outside. So essentially, they are doing it for lore and they're doing it kind of for the story as if you went in. But for all the sensitive flowers out there, they still need to play this kind of trick of making you feel like you're still outside. That defeats the purpose. These are mutually exclusive things for me. Tell me if you kind of picked up on that yourself, or maybe this what I say to you resonate. I'm not just here again to bash. For the last time I'm explaining it to you. I'm a fan. I want to like this, but I don't particularly buy into it. It might be better when you play. Overall, I'm seeing yet another Zara like Heaven, and just more spaces that are edited and prepared in a 3D world and lit in such a way that they look like they are outside. So there is nothing else to say about it. And only one, once again, only one allied race, which is just recolored dwarves and female dwarves that can have beards. Okay, go pat yourself on the back if that's something that rocks your boat, mate. Honestly, it's just not enough to be excited about, is all I'm saying. Okay, is all I'm saying. You know, everyone is allowed to like what they like, but come on, that makes you excited? Come on. They are investing more into making the life of the alts better. That is a very good thing that they're making the life of the alts better. But as Morgan Day kind of elaborated on that post the initial announcement, he said that it's not like there is a specific UI element, like a window or pop-up that gives you access to like a management window of all your alts. Like I was secretly, when they were talking about the announcement, I thought, what if they actually make it truly useful rather than just sharing experiences, sharing achievements, who cares about them, sharing transmogs and stuff. I know for some people it's a lot, but that's it. I thought it's going to be something more profound, something more impactful, such as, let's say you are playing one alt, for example, you're leveling a new alt of level 11, but you are queued up for LFR, let's say, on your DPS hunter of top level. You know how long those queues are, don't you? So what would have been amazing if, for example, that one single feature would have made the expansion for me. That one single feature would have resonated with every altoholic out there, because then, awesome, Warband, here we go. You are leveling an alt, or like, you know, collecting herbs on some alt once again, while your, you know, your poor sort of other person, other kind of DPS character is queued up. Let's say like that would be amazing, wouldn't it? But it doesn't sound like that's what they're doing. They're honestly just sharing achievements, experiences, unlocks, a variety of other kind of things while you're playing on multiple alts. Is it a good thing? Yes. Is it enough to make one excited? Not by a long country mile shot. Like, just not even yet. Now, let's talk about another elephant in the room, and that is delves. Well, first of all, they stole the idea from Path of Exile. They stole the idea from Path of Exile about Ascendancies, which is basically a hero expansion of your talents. In Path of Exile, you also have the Field of Talents, so to speak, and then you ascend as one of the 3 specializations for each class. They are doing literally that, and that's a great thing. That's fantastic, but again, they are simply borrowing something from another game that has done it much better than they have, and, well, they probably will polish it and make it look like it's their own, but at the same time, it's been done before, and it's been done very successfully. That excites me. But now, delves. Delves exist also as solo experiences or group experiences in Path of Exile as well. Okay, so it's going to be basically a portal or a little cave or a little something similar to World Quest as you walk in the overworld, so to speak, and then you come across a potential availability of a delve, which is good, it's great, but we don't know enough about it. And plus, as you can see, and if you've been playing this game for a long time like I have, you know that it is just essentially a slightly changed and slightly evolved, probably, but a version of scenarios. They used to have scenarios, and it's been a while ago now, so I can't remember if scenarios used to be solo or if they used to be queuable but for smaller group. I remember that it was definitely a smaller group, and for any role composition. You didn't have to be a tank, a healer, or a DPS. There could be 3 DPS characters in a scenario, right? And they were literally that. They were also queuable little quick adventures, right? They were good, rewards were bad, that's why people stopped playing. I personally stopped playing. They don't understand that World of Warcraft for many years was always about progression of the character, and in those things you need to get something juicy at the end of it. Either it's cosmetic reward, either it's a mount, or it's some kind of piece of gear. If they don't give pieces of gear in places like Torghast, then eventually people who are not into purely achievements and ticking the boxes, people who want power progression, yeah, and they want alternative power progression to mythic raiding, to any form of raiding, to any form of dungeoning, any form of group content, those people who are solo players, they will do it a couple of times for novelty or maybe for a couple of cosmetic things like a couple of pets and whatnot. But then how many damn pets do you need? At least I'm talking for myself. I need gear. My alts need gear. That would be amazing. That would be evergreen content because I have evergreen number of alts and I need to come back for gear, right? So if these delves give gear, actual literal gear, good, sign me up, totally sold, awesome, excellent, finally they got the point. And if all it is yet another achievement or maybe an occasional mount for like, I don't even know, I don't even care, then no. And now we're coming to the kind of punchline of this, and the video turned out to be longer than I thought. Well, I am a very rant-prone person. The summary of it, so delve into the heart of Azeroth, engage with Earthen and Nerubians. You know, next year is the release for The War Within. Is my answer to that, or is my reaction to that, right? Midnight, however, the expansion after that, Chris succeeded at hooking me with, return to Quel'Thalas, make a stand with the forces of the light to banish the shadow of the void from Azeroth. So it's going to be confrontation with the void, it's going to be helping elves, night elves, specifically Quel'Thalas. That stuff, sign me up. Sign me right up. But it's not for the next couple of years probably, right? And also, what a damn missed opportunity while we talk about the cadence. Yes, they tell you about the 3 expansions, right? By the way, I'm not interested in the last Titan. Simply because, first of all, I'm not interested in the Titan lore. Just me. Tell me if you are. Secondly, it's too vague. Like, we know a lot about the War Within. We are given a tiny bit more about the Midnight, and we're given basically just a hint of what there is about that last Titan. So let's not even talk about that. That is the reason why I'm not focusing on that. Midnight, sign me up. So far, excitement level moderate to low, I'll be honest with you, and I genuinely believe, and that's why I put it on the thumbnail, that I honestly feel like skip War Within, wait till midnight. Honestly, if you have anything to do other than people who have no jobs and they live in mom's basements, of course they'll play everything throughout, but I'm very selective about how I invest my time. I have other channels going, I have other hobbies going, so that's kind of how I feel. Time to wrap this up, time to wrap this rant up. I have other thoughts and I'm happy to expand on further kind of conversational videos because this is only day 1 of BlizzCon. Tomorrow there'll be a deep dive and I'll talk to you a bit more about what I thought from those deep dives. Of course, I'm going to be reviewing that. Plus, very happy to just have a chat right now in the comments below, fresh on the heels of this announcement. Does it make you excited? Do you want to be a female earthen dwarf with a beard? If yes, why? Do you want to play The War Within, or are you with me that Midnight sounds like a much better, much more appealing product, but they're almost like, hey, here is this recolored dwarves for you and some underground caverns. Enjoy for the next 2 years, but stick around, Gyro, there'll be Midnight, mate. That's what it sounds like to me. And by the way, before I forget, what I started talking about is that they announced these 3 expansions, but the missed opportunity is that even Chris Metzen says, oh, stick around, I promise, we're not screwing around, haha. But he doesn't even tell us that the intended cadence is X. And by that I mean, he says, we want to release these expansions faster. My friends, they've been saying that for the past, what, you correct me, 10 years? Every time they say we want to release content faster. Every freaking time. And yet again, he does the big man from the stage with the booming voice. He says to us that same damn thing. Like, that's where he kind of lost me when he said, oh, we're not screwing around. A great franchise, blah, blah, blah. But we are not ready to tell you anything basically about that cadence. What? Mate, Chris, you walk out on stage with these grand statements and these grand kind of sweeps, right, man? But why don't you at least give us the indicative timeline? So if you're planning to, and now we're getting expansions roughly every 2 years, what's your plan, mate? Every year? Every year and a half? What's your plan? This was the golden opportunity to solidify the hook, like hook me up full on, man, full on. Instead of that, we hear this kind of half-baked promise that I'm supposed to take at face value because it's Chris Metzen talking. I told you in the predictions video that, first of all, it's not going to be a Chris Metzen Thrall returns, the orcs of the barons unite together into the recolored Ogrimmar. I told you it's not going to be that. But I told you that it's going to be, he's going to be the flagman, waving the flag and kind of cheering on the crowd and everyone, for the Horde, for the Alliance. Well, come on, man, like, that's exactly what happened. Look, wrapping it up. Is it a good thing that BlizzCon is happening? Of course it damn is. Of course it's good. But I'm just telling you that something is missing for me. So with these Nerubians, they miss Nerubians. I can't be a Nerubian. Goodbye. With Midnight and The Last Titan, what's the timeline? What's the intent then? Hook me up by saying not just sooner, but every year. That's our intention. And we'll try, Gyro. But we're not making any promises. Super. I would have bought it. I would have completely, yeah. But the biggest indication for you about how genuinely I feel about this whole announcement today is that, yes, there are a few things to dive into and maybe keep my ears peeled and listen and maybe more comes out, more promising stuff comes out. But so far it's underwhelming, and so far it didn't even make me want to pre-order the expansion. I didn't even pre-order the expansion after this announcement. That is all I can say to you. That is all I can say to you. Now is your time to come back to me and tell me how wrong I am or how right I am and how it made you feel. I'm not making fun of you, but that is just genuinely how this kind of plentiful, seemingly rich announcement made me feel. It's rich, it's sort of grand, but it's sort of also empty and with no particular promises. That's my conclusion. Not a massive fan of what I saw today. Hopefully we'll see more tomorrow, and hopefully I'm not alone in terms of the people who feel that way, but maybe the hardcore undying fans of World of Warcraft forming with the mouth kids who will take anything from Chris Metzen. They will tell me how wrong I am. Please go ahead. Comments section is open for you. Go for your life. Just try and be respectful. Talk to you soon about something else, probably World of Warcraft related, because that's all I have time for now, like following these news, and maybe as more emerge I will talk to you again about this, especially if you want to talk back, because otherwise I'm also kind of not motivated of just talking to myself and the camera over here. Anyway, like the video if you did like it. Don't like the video if you didn't like it. Subscribe for more, because more content is coming one way or another. Yeah, I just need to sort out some real life stuff. And goodbye for now.